Hello everybody, I'm V. Ragasuma. Today's class I'm going to explain you about purification of organic compounds. One easy method to check the purity of the organic compound, it is to melt or boil organic compound, which is having a sharp melting point. Actually, why we do this purification? Purification means the removal of unwanted impurities present in an organic compound. This method, there are different methods. So purification of the solid organic compounds, purification of the organic compounds is important because organic compounds are made in laboratory and these contain the impurities. So in that way, we need the purification of the organic compounds. Now, purification of the organic compounds, it's important because of the organic compound, it's made in lab, which is having the impurities. The common methods for the purification of the compounds are crystallization, sublimation, distillation, extraction, chromatography, so etc. Crystallization, generally it's a process of forming crystals. In this method, the impure substance, it is dissolved in water. Here, the crystallization in this method, the impure substance, it is dissolved in water or some other suitable organic solvent, such as alcohol, petrol, and so on. The solution, we filter and remove the suspended impurities. The filtrate is heated over a water bath so that the vapors of the solvent may not catch fire. And the hot solution of the organic compound is cooled so that the crystals get separated. And the crystals are removed by filtration and impurities passed. See, and recrystallization is also employed. It is used to purify the organic compounds. Small subsolvent added to the flask of the impure solvent and contents of the flask are heated until the solid dissolves. Then the solid is cooled. A more pure solid separates out, leaving impurities in the solid. You can take the example, different examples later on. I will give you different examples. We'll see later. Now, coming to the purification, the sublimation, you have different methods as we have discussed. One, the sublimation, the simple crystallization, fractional crystallization, simple distillation, fractional distillation, and sometimes distillation under pressure you can do, the methods of purification. And steam distillation we do, azeotropic distillation we can do, chromatography, differential extractions, chemical methods, purification by commercial benzene, drying of the organic substances. All these are the methods of purification of organic compounds. Once organic compound is extracted from the natural source and synthesized in laboratory, it is essential for us to do all these processes, the purity process. Various methods used for the purification of the organic compounds are based on the nature of the compound and the impurity present in it. Here the different techniques I've told you. Yeah, coming to the first one, the sublimation. So large number of methods available for purification. So the choice of method, it depends upon the nature of the substance. It depends upon the nature of the substance, whether solid or the liquid, and the type of impurities present in it, used for the purpose. And here, simple crystallization you have. We have fractional crystallization. You have sublimation. So what is sublimation? So sublimation, it is a process, the solid substance changes from one solid to vapor. The direct phase, the solid phase is converted to the vapor phase. And it doesn't undergo the liquid phase. It is used to separate the sublimable compound from the non-sublimable impurities. Certain organic solids on heating directly change from solid to the vapor state. And this doesn't pass through the liquid state. Such substance is called sublimable, and the process is nothing but sublimation. Sublimation process, it is used for separation of subliminal water volatile substances from non-sublimable impurities. The process is generally used for purification of air. We generally apply this one for camphor, naphthalene, anthracene, benzoic acid, iodine, salicylic acid, and different substances which are having the non-volatile substances. Yeah, this is the sublimation process. Now we'll see the crystallization. The second one is the crystallization process. Yeah, this is a most common method used for the purifying the organic solids. It is based on the difference in the solubilities of the compound and the impurities in suitable solvent. So the most common method is crystallization. It is based upon the fact whether the crystal is formed or not. It tends to leave the impurities on it. For crystallization, a suitable solvent, it dissolves one or more substances at high temperature than at room temperature, in which the impurities either insoluble or dissolved to an extent that remain in solution. And in the mother liquor for the crystallization, which is not highly inflammable, and it doesn't react chemically with the compound to be crystallized. The most commonly used solvents for the crystallization are water, alcohol, chloroform, ether, the solvents that are used. Carbon tetrachloride, acetone, benzene, petroleum ether, example. For example, if we take sugar, it is having impurity of common salt. Sugar, it is having the impurity that's common salt. It can be crystallized from hot ethanol, while sugar dissolves in the hot ethanol, but the common salt doesn't. By this way, we can crystallize sugar. A mixture of benzoic acid and naphthalene can be separated from hot water in which benzoic acid dissolves, but naphthalene doesn't dissolve. In that way, you can employ. So in this crystallization process, you are having the fractional crystallization. The process of separation of different components of a mixture by repeated crystallizations is called fractional crystallization. The mixture is dissolved in solvent in which the two components have different solubilities. When a hot saturated solution is mixture, it's cool, is allowed to cool, and less soluble components crystallizes out first, while more soluble remains in the solution. The mother liquor left after crystallization of less soluble components is again concerned and then allowed to cool. So when the crystals of the more soluble compounds are obtained, the two components thus separated are recrystallized from same or different solvent to yield both components of the mixture in pure form. So fractional crystallization can be used to separate the mixtures of less soluble and more soluble. The term, see, the crystallization, you have the simple crystallization where you add a solvent and then separate the soluble one and the insoluble, basing on the solubility. And in the fractional crystallization, it can be used here, the less soluble and the more soluble. Now coming to the distillation, the process of purification of the compounds. This important method, it is used to separate volatile from non-volatile impurities. From the volatile to the non-volatile impurity separation, this can be employed. And the liquids having sufficient difference in the boiling points can also be done for distillation. So distillation, it is a joint process of vaporization. It is a joint process of vaporization and condensation. This method, it is used for purification of liquids which boil without decomposition, contain non-volatile substances. This method can be used for separating liquids having sufficient difference in their boiling points. Yeah, you can use this method can be used to separate the mixtures like chloroform, aniline, ether, toluene, like that. So simple distillation, and the next one is the fractional distillation. Here in the this process is used to separate a mixture of two or more miscible liquids which have boiling points close to each other, which are having the boiling points that is close to each other. And since in this process, the distillate, it is collected in the fractions under different temperatures. This is known as a fractional distillation. This process, it is carried out by using fractionating columns. And here, the fractional distillation. If the difference in the boiling points of two liquids is not much, simple distillation can be used and separated. And the technique of the fractional distillation is in such cases. Separation of the mixture of two or more miscible liquids which have boiling points close to each other. And this process, the distillate is collected in fractions under different temperatures. It is known as fractional distillation. This process is carried out by fractionating columns. Fractionating column is a special type of long glass tube and provided with the obstructions to the passage of the vapor upwards and that of liquid downwards. This method can be used to separate a mixture of acetone, methanol, or the mixture of benzene, toluene. Yeah, one of the technological applications of the fractional distillation is to separate different fractions of crude oil in petrol industry. Yeah, into different fractions, it gets separated: gasoline, kerosene oil, diesel oil, lubricating oil, etc. So this is one process. Okay, so fractional distillation generally, if the boiling points of the two liquids is not much, then we can employ this method. This process, it can be carried out using the fractionating columns. And this column, it is a special type of long glass tube, as I've told you. Abstractions will be there for the passage of the vapor upward and downwards. So for example, I have told you the examples which can be separated: acetone, methanol mixture, and the mixture of benzene and toluene. Such types can be separated. Next, distillation. The third, here it's not given. Here you can do even the steam distillation, and the next, distillation under reduced pressure can also be performed. Purification of high boiling liquids and liquids which decompose at or below their boiling points can be done under the reduced pressure. The crude liquid is heated in the distillation flask fitted with the water condenser, receiver, and vacuum pump. As the pressure is reduced, the liquid becomes to boil at a much lower temperature than its normal boiling temperature. The vapor is condensed by water condenser and the pure liquid collects in the receiver. That is the distillation process. Glycerol, it decomposes at its boiling point under the atmospheric pressure. That can be distilled with decomposition of you can see 453 around Kelvin, it can be done. And even the sugarcane juice we have come across, it is concentrated into sugar industry by evaporation under the reduced pressure. We have generally come across that also. Fractional distillation. Now coming to the steam distillation. Yeah, steam distillation, this method, it is applicable. This technique, it is applied to separate substances which are steam volatile and immiscible with water. They are volatile along with the steam, but immiscible in water. They don't get mixed up with water, but they go along with water. Such type of mixtures can be separated using steam distillation. This method is applicable for a separation and purification of those organic compounds and the ones which are insoluble in water and volatile along with the steam. And these should possess high vapor pressure. And they should contain the non-volatile impurities. These are the conditions for steam distillation. Now, I'm going to give the example for steam distillation. Aniline can be purified by steam distillation. since it boils at the temperature high, around 371 in presence of steam. And the other compounds which can be purified by steam distillation are nitrobenzene, bromobenzene, orthonitrobenzene, salicylaldehyde, orthohydroxyacetophenone, essential oils, like that. You can separate. Yeah, different processes for distillation: simple distillation, fractional distillation, steam distillation, distillation under pressure, and even you can do the azeotropic distillation. Mixture of having constant boiling point. The most familiar example is a mixture of ethanol and water. You do here the azeotropic distillation. Yeah, that one. And this compound used in the process, it's based on the fact that dehydrating it. Now, chromato, yeah, you have the differential. The next process of distillation, we have in the under distillation, we have seen sublimation, you have seen what is sublimation and crystallization, the types you have seen. Crystallization, simple crystallization, fractional crystallization. Okay, so simple crystallization, fractional crystallization we've seen. And coming to the next, the one is the distillation. Before distillation, I have explained, yeah, distillation. In the distillation, I've told you about the simple distillation, fractional distillation, steam distillation, distillation under pressure, and azeotropic distillation. Now, let us see about the differential extraction of purification. Here, the differential extraction. What is the differential extraction? So first, you need to know what is extraction. So here, extraction, this method, it is used to separate an organic compound from its aqueous solution just by shaking with suitable solvent. Then this is done in separating funnel, the organic solvent and the aqueous solvent. Both of them are immiscible with each other. They form two distinct layers, and this is done in the separating funnel. Benzene, chloroform, carbon tetrachloride, all these are getting separated using water. The selected solvent, immiscible one is solvent, is water, but should dissolve the organic solvent. This method is normally employed to do. For example, benzoic acid can be extracted from water using benzene. Yeah, like that, different methods are there. Solvent extraction, generally it is liquid extraction you call. Okay, differential extraction, the solvent extraction, it is one of the method. You call it as a liquid extraction. This is extensive use for routine separation of the methods of organic and inorganic compounds in aqueous. And similarly, you have the co-precipitation, post-precipitation problems in this process. Many organic biochemical compounds can be separated without decomposition from their aqueous solutions. Yeah, in this differential extraction, the principle is the solvent extraction. It's based on the transfer of solutes from one solvent to the other solvent. And both the solvents should be immiscible. Okay, this is the way they are brought in contact with each other and then getting separated. The two solutions are brought in contact with each other in that separating funnel. The device which we are using is separating funnel. Yeah. Before explaining this chromatography, let me give some of the differential extractions. Here the formula it is Kd is the distribution coefficient, D is equal to concentration of the A organic by concentration of the A aqueous. Yeah, the successive solvent extraction depends upon the Kd values. Greater the Kd value, greater is the efficiency of the extraction process. The solvent extraction, it is used in separating solvent components or the solute components in the aqueous solution. In the aqueous solution, in the solvent. This can be done by shaking the known volume of the aqueous solution in the separating funnel and a known volume of organic liquid, which is completely miscible with water. The shaking, it is done thoroughly with sufficient time, with the complete equilibration of the distribution of the solutes between water and immiscible organic liquid. The separating funnel, you can, the shape of the separating funnel. Separating funnel is kept aside for on a stand for some time, for sufficient time, and a clear separation of the aqueous and non-aqueous layers can be visible. If separation is not perfect generally, anhydrous sodium sulfate salt is added. The mixture is shaken thoroughly, and this helps in clear separation of the two solutions. And we are having it's done by three processes, this differential. One is a batch extraction process. In batch extraction process, the aqueous solution containing the dissolved solutes with an immiscible organic solvent in a closed vessel, okay, until equilibrium is attained. Okay, the extraction is carried out in the open vessel also and with the magnetic sterility. And the next one is the continuous extraction process. The second process is the continuous extraction. Yeah, in the continuous extraction, the extracting liquid which is passed continues towards the stationary phase containing the solutes, and the amount desired component is removed. That is a continuous extraction process in this differential. And the next one is the countercurrent extraction. Yeah, this is the multi-stage separation technique. Here the device it's commonly used Craig counter apparatus we use. Now mixtures containing different coefficients, very close components can be employed for separation in this way. A single separation step does not lead to clean separation. At that time, we go for the countercurrent separation types. Okay, and here you're having the process. What I told you is Craig's method. This way, you perform the differential extractions. Now, let us see chromatography. The next chromatographic method. Chromatography. In this method, what is chromatography? You are having given the chemical methods for separation. Later we'll see that chemical method separation. So this is the modern method used for separation of mixtures into the components, purification of the components, and to test the purity of the component. The name chromatography, this technique, the mixture of substance applied onto the stationary phase, which may be solid or liquid. A pure solvent, a mixture of solvents, or a gas is allowed to move slowly over the stationary phase. That is chromatography, a modern method used for separation of mixtures. The name chromatography is based on the Greek word that is chroma means color, graphy means writing. Because the method was first used for separation of the color components found in plants, it was described by Teshwell. And the principle for this chromatography, the principle is the technique of the chromatography is based on the difference in the rate at which the components move through the porous medium. That is the stationary phase. Under the influence of the solvent, that is the mobile phase. Thus, this technique contains two phases. One is the stationary phase of large surface area, while the second is the moving phase, which is allowed to move slowly over the stationary phase. The stationary phase, it can be either solid or liquid, while the moving can be maybe liquid or a gas. Now the different types of chromatographies are here. The principal absorption and the partition, adsorption and the partition. Depending upon the nature of the stationary and the mobile phases, different types of chromatographies are there. Adsorption or the column chromatography, thin layer chromatography, high performance liquid chromatography, gas liquid chromatography, partition chromatography, or the paper ascending chromatography. Okay, so these are the different types of the chromatographies. As previously I have told you, differential extraction. Similarly, this chromatography, different types you have. Okay, adsorption or column chromatography, thin layer chromatography, high performance chromatography, gas liquid chromatography, partition chromatography, and so on. In this way, you have different types of chromatographies. Now, in the adsorption, it is based on the fact that the different components are adsorbed on an adsorbent to different degrees. Commonly used adsorbents are the silica gel and aluminum. Yeah, in the adsorption, here it's the spelling is typed wrong. It's adsorption chromatography. it is column and thin layer chromatography. So on the partition, your partition chromatography, it's a paper chromatography. Yeah, paper chromatography, yeah, you're having. And in the adsorption chromatography, you're having the column chromatography and thin layer chromatography. Next, it involves the separation of the mixture of column of adsorbent stationary phase packed in a glass tube. It is another type of adsorption chromatography which involves separation of substances of the. It is another type of adsorption chromatography which involves separation of substances of the mixtures over the thin layer of the adsorbent coated on the glass plate. The main principle behind this one, it is the relative adsorption of each component of the mixture is expressed in terms of retardation factor. Your retardation factor. What is retardation factor? RF, you generally indicate it by RF. So retardation factor, RF means distance moved by the substance from the baseline, distance moved by the substance from the baseline by distance moved by the solvent from the baseline. Right. So chromatography, generally it's separation into different components based on the equilibrium distribution of the components between two phases. So the differences in the physical and the chemical properties of the components determine the relative affinity for the stationary phase. And consequently, the components move through the system at different rates. At least retarded components move fastest and will be eluted first, and the most retarded move slowest and elute last. So coming to this one, in this principle, we have to discuss about the what is the RF values. Principle of the differential migration and the adsorption phenomena. In this process, the molecules of the component substance come in contact with stationary phase and get themselves distributed between the two phases. This is partition. And the partition coefficient D at equilibrium, it is represented by D of concentration of X in organic layer by concentration of X in the aqueous layer. So the volume of the mobile phase required to carry the component solute molecules through the system to the detector is called retention volume. Okay, so now here you're having the transient time, the deadline time. So the volume V0 is the dead volume, the velocity peak of each band is the D value. So column efficiency is the rate at which the molecules spread out as they travel throughout the stationary phase. So all these factors are responsible. We can see in detail about this chromatography. But coming under the separation techniques, we are having these are the separation techniques. So solid, if the stationary phase is solid and if the stationary phase is solid and the mobile phase is liquid, that different, that technique is paper chromatography, thin layer chromatography, high performance liquid chromatography, yeah, and adsorption column chromatography. This is, yeah, there the solid is stationary phase and the mobile phase is liquid. These are the different methods. Paper chromatography, TLC, HPLC, adsorption chromatography. Now coming to the next type, if solid is the stationary phase and liquid is the mobile phase, and the solid is ion exchange resin, then you can go for the ion exchange chromatography. That method is the technique is the ion exchange chromatography. Next, if the stationary phase is solid and the mobile phase is gas, then we have gas solid chromatography. Next, if solid matrix, that is gel, it is the stationary phase, mobile phase is the liquid, then gel permeation chromatography. Or else you can even do the exclusion chromatography. And the next one is, if liquid is the stationary phase, mobile phase is gas, then we can do the gas liquid chromatography, GLC. If stationary phase is liquid and mobile phase is liquid, then that can be liquid chromatography. And whatever it is developed is a chromatogram. And different methods to develop the chromatogram: frontal analysis, displacement method, evolution. Partition chromatography, a continuous differential partition of components of the mixture between stationary and the mobile phase. Next, coming to the what are different solvent systems? What are the different types the adsorbents used? You can go for the sucrose, starch, kieselguhr, carbon, silica, fluorist, okay, magnesium silicate, alumina, Fuller's earth, magnesium. All these are the different types of adsorbents that can be used. Sucrose, and if you take sucrose, chlorophyll, xanthophylls can be separated. If you take starch, enzymes can be separated. Alumina silicate, sterols can be separated. Calcium carbonate, keratinoids can be separated. Magnesium silicate, sterols, esters, alkaloids can be separated. Carbon, carbohydrates, and amino acids can be separated. If adsorbent silica, amino acid sterols can be separated. And if alumina is the diesters, vitamins, inorganic compounds can be separated. Yeah, these are about the adsorbents and applications. Yeah, all these are the brief introduction. Now, if the solvent systems, different solvents that can be used, I'll give a brief introduction. Pentane, isopentane, cyclohexane, carbon disulfide, carbon tetrachloride, xylene, toluene, benzene, ethyl ether, chloroform, tetrahydrochlorine, methyl ethyl ketone, acetone, dioxane, ethyl acetate, amyl alcohol, acetonitrite, pyridine, isopropanol, ethanol, methanol, water, ethylene glycol, acetic acid. All these are the different solvents that can be used. Okay. So RF values also, the distance moved from starting line to the central zone DC and the distance from starting line to the solvent front. This is the RF values. RF value, it generally depends upon nature of the solute. RF value depends upon the nature of the solute, nature of the solvent system. I told you different solute systems, different solvent systems, different packing materials, what we are using. So different types of adsorbents we are taking, I've told you. So RF value depends on the nature of the solute, the nature of the solvent, and the nature of the support system. Okay. So, and different methods, procedures can be discussed in later classes. Yeah, today what we have discussed is about the separation techniques, purification of the organic compounds. As why we require the purification, I have told you, just to remove the impurities. Why? It's the purification of the organic compounds. We means it's removal of the unwanted impurities that are there in the organic compound. So different methods you do that purification. Why it's important is just to remove the impurities. Okay. And different methods employed, I've told you: sublimation method and crystallization, simple crystallization, fractional crystallization, distillation. Okay. So in the distillation, we have seen fractional distillation, steam distillation, azeotropic distillation under pressure, simple distillation. And differential extractions, we have seen batch extraction, countercurrent extraction, continuous extraction. So these are the different types of extractions I've told you. Solvent extraction, the differential extractions. Yeah, so here the methods are, it's not, the different types of the extractions which I've told you is the principle is the distribution condense law, batch extraction process, continuous extraction process, countercurrent extraction process. Now chromatography, why we perform the chromatography, types of the chromatography, and the principle behind the chromatography, RF values, and what are the adsorbents that we are using, what are the different solvent system we are using were discussed in brief in this class. I hope everybody have understood my class. Thank you, everybody.